So this meditation is one that I have made up. There's probably similar things out there with the same intentions. I call it the space pod meditation. So it's got kind of two main purposes, experiences that it's meant to help guide you into. And one of the first important things is that you have to suspend disbelief. All right, because this is kind of a fantastical experience, so you need to take logic out of it. All right, this is just something you're doing for, however 20, 25 minutes, however long this lasts. And you just kind of have to go with it in order to let yourself, get the effects of it. So two things it does for me is one, especially in these times when there could be a lot of anxiety and different things happening, but just even without this crisis, a lot of us function in high stress mode anyway and are anxious and depressed and all of these other things. This might even be a nice break from all of our normal anxieties, who knows? So it gives us an opportunity to, one, notice how all of those things are created in the mind. Not to diminish their power or their importance or their reality. It's just an observation that they are all created by our thoughts. So that's part of this experience. The other part is noticing how underneath all of that, there is this underlying sense of peace that we experience when we are detached from all those things. So that's the thing that's always here, that's taught so much in Buddhism and the yogic philosophy, in everything, that there is this thing that when we are detached, when we are free of all of our attachments, it's our true essence, is what's often taught. For the sake of just more people kind of being open to this, it's just an experience of peace. Whether you believe what you believe it is, it doesn't really matter. So this experience is one where I take you're going to imagine you're in a little pod, little capsule of your own, and you're frozen in time physically, and your health is just as it is. And there's, bodily functions, everything is just as it is right now. And we're going to float. We're going to float outside of, the Earth's hemisphere and beyond. And we're going to go forever. Like this is a forever thing. You're in this capsule and you're out. Never coming back. Okay? And a lot of different things arise as we go on this journey. And that's where I come in and just follow along with me and see how it works for you, okay? So make sure you are super comfortable first, in a position where you're not going to have to fidget, your legs are not going to fall asleep, your back is going to be comfortable. So you can even do this in a chair, you could lean against a wall. The whole point is to not get so comfortable that you fall asleep, but comfortable enough that your body doesn't start talking to you and make you want to move. All right, so get settled in, and then once you're there, find a place where you can lean back just slightly and open your chest. So your arms will either hang by your sides or land on your legs, palms up or down. And just feel a nice openness of the chest and a lengthening in the neck all the way to the crown. So your head's not tilted back, it's not dropping forward. You're setting an intention to maintain this nice long spine and openness throughout the practice, but there's a chance that every once in a while you'll slump, and when you remember, just reactivate. Okay, we often tend to just lean forward too. Remind yourself to lean back. And if your mind starts to wander outside of this practice, know that the breath is a really great bridge back to the present moment. Okay, so we'll start by focusing on the breath. Just following it in through the nose, feeling that breeze flow in. And then you follow it back out through the nose, feeling the temperature change as it flows from kind of the warm, humid lungs out of the body. It's a little bit cooler as it flows in. Warmer as it flows out. Continue to focus on this. Maybe allow the breaths to get a little bit slower, a little bit longer. Continue breathing just like this. Check in with your posture once again. Also this time relax your jaw, your forehead, and your eyelids. And now in this position that you are in, imagine that you are now in the little capsule. A little high-tech bubble. It's going to keep you a comfortable temperature. And you're aware of the walls, the area surrounding you, while you're in this little bubble. And then you're going to start to float up a little bit from wherever you are. And you just notice, as you start to slowly move up, what sort of things are, taking your attention, have been, taking up mind space, creating different emotions in your body, whether it's excitement, anxiety, sadness, peace. Could be family, could be civilization, society, could be interpersonal stuff, relationship. Just notice where you might be feeling some of these different things, what they feel like. Is there kind of like a texture or a shape to them, or even a color? Sometimes anxiety is held around the heart. It's tight, sometimes it's colored red. Depression, a little bit lower, heavier, kind of grayish black, more globular. Excitement, upper chest. Open, yellow, bright shades. Just allowing them to be there, noticing what gives rise to them, different aspects of your life that exist, especially as you're earthbound, because they take strategy, they take, thought, energy. And now you're starting to float up a little bit higher out of, moving further and further away from your home or wherever you might be practicing this. High enough so that you can see the neighborhood from which you came. Starting to feel a tiny bit more distance from things, whether it's chores in the house, outside the house, work, tasks. And you start to float up even higher, seeing the surrounding areas, the suburbs, the empty prairies or lakes or bodies of water, mountains. And further out, the entire state, aware of all the living bodies and living things below. And all of their connections. Feeling yourself contained, physically separated from all of them. Maybe feeling a little bit more at peace because there's nothing to do right now in order to manage anything. Start to feel lighter, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally. You really feel the breath flowing in and out. You feel the body relaxing bit by bit, more each and every moment. And then you're floating up further and further out. Colors are starting to show up in patches, shapes, as you start to notice different states, different areas of the country coming into view, all the way out to the borders. Knowing your different connections to different people, places, and things in these areas distant from your normal home. Floating up further and further, seeing oceans, other continents coming into view. Aware of all the life that exists down below. Further out, starting to reach the atmosphere, a layer of atmosphere containing the clouds, oxygen, moisture, the planet itself. And now you're passing through that, leaving that bubble of the earth. Aware now of deep space, in all directions. There's planets within, some closer, some further. There's stars. There's our sun, there's many other suns and galaxies. And you are far away from all of your attachments to family, to work, to friends, to the planet, to basic needs for survival, even. You have nothing more to plan or to process. To analyze. To daydream about, really, manifesting, because none of it's going to. And that can bring up different feelings. Is there an anxiety for things that are left unfinished? Or a sadness? Or a missing of people? Sadness about not being able to say goodbye and knowing what they might be feeling, thinking. Other obligations that affect other people, leaving them hanging. Causes that you are contributing to, now without your support. Things that you were excited about that are no longer going to be possible. And noticing how those are all based in thoughts, which of course give rise to the emotions. They do create a molecular, chemical experience in the body that is very real, but they are all initiated by thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and attachments. There's nothing else that connects you to them other than those thoughts and visions and anything else that the mind conjures up. And there may still be a connection that transcends our normal senses and scientific proof of things. But even those don't matter. No longer part of that world below. And as you start to realize that is true, that these are all manufactured through thoughts, and your feelings and anxieties or anything else that is keeping you from peace at this moment is based in thoughts. You see them, you notice them, but most importantly, you also notice that there is something that is noticing them. A field in which they are all contained. A field of consciousness itself, awareness, observer, and the fact that you are able to feel that, sense that, and actually be that is proof that it exists. You cannot see your thoughts if you are your thoughts. You can only see your thoughts if there's space in between, something that sees them and them themselves. So as the new reality is to continue to float out further and further and further, infinitely, to no end. The only way that you're going to experience peace and freedom from all of those earthly attachments is to reside fully in consciousness itself and allow all of those ideas of who you are to dissipate and to disappear. So that the body and the mind will continue to exist. But now you're just the container in which they are all held. The energetic field in which they exist. This field itself is infinite as well. Merge completely with that infinite field of true peace, detachment, consciousness. now things begin to change. The trajectory of this pod that you're in is beginning to reverse directions. It's heading back toward Earth. Still residing in that experience of consciousness itself, aware of this change. And this pod begins to approach the Earth's atmosphere slowly. And now begins to enter back into the bubble of the planet. Clouds moving around as it floats through them. And the body starts to become closer and closer to this experience of consciousness itself. So there's almost a simultaneous experience, one of the body and the mind that are coming back into a bit more existence of life, of presence, of a connection between consciousness and the body-mind. And that very peaceful, expansive experience of consciousness begins to permeate all of the cells of the body. It still exists as like a surrounding, but it's also felt within. The body is felt within it, and it is felt within the body simultaneously. And then continents and oceans become viewable again. And some of the thoughts about existence of what's below start to come back in, the state of affairs of how things were when you left. But there's a sense of neutrality that may not have been there before. A sense of detachment, of emotion connected to those things. Society, family, work, personal goals. They exist and you welcome them, but there's a space and a peace between them. You start to get closer and closer once again, just right over America itself. The state you are from. And closer still. cities, towns, landscapes surrounding your town. And coming closer, your home now is within sight. Whichever place you left from. And you start to feel the energy of all those people, places, and things that you felt such a strong attachment to when you left. You feel them stronger, but once again, there's still a sense of neutrality and peace. Less attachment to how things should be or could be. And then you begin to land back in that place from which you took off. And then that pod opens up and you feel the energy of the space surrounding you. The air itself, the light, sounds, smells, energy of your neighborhood and people that might be around. And you really feel the density of your body once again in whatever position it's in. You're aware of all of its contents, organs, blood, everything within the body, muscles, the brain, and of the breath. And you maybe feel the magic of the breath. Its lightness, for some reason a sense of appreciation for it, because it can be a calm steadiness for us if we choose for it to be. And it can be a bridge to that experience of residing in consciousness itself whenever you choose to. If this was something that was helpful for you, take a moment just to acknowledge that. Anything that was specifically helpful in giving you some peace or a new realization, take a moment. And then bring your hands to your heart. Feel the connection of palm to palm. Bow your head towards the palms, towards the fingertips. And recognition of that divine energy of the heart where they're laying. A really powerful energy of the body that is independent of thoughts themselves. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And possibly take some of this energy into your day, your week, your month, your life. Namaste.